Well, welcome back F100 fans. Day 2. So continuing on, going to remove the front guards. So first job is to get in here. Well, we've already been once to get the grill bolt out. There's another bolt hiding in there. If it'll focus. And we need to get that out for the front guard. A little bit stubborn at the moment. So we'll give it a spray, get a bit more muscle on it, and we'll get that one out. So finally got that little bugger in there loose, getting this guard off. Tell you what, the little bloody torque wrench is no good there. Had to bring out the big brother, but yeah, she stopped arguing with me now. Rightio, so got the top one out through the indicator hole. There's another one in the middle there, another one down the bottom, already got that one. Luckily for the old ratchet spanners, because I really don't want to take off the plastic liner. Because back in the day, after I painted this thing, pop riveted these around the guard, and I don't really want to drill them all out. But anyway, I'll see if I can get away with that. Anyway, back to the ratchet. Right, next cab off the rank is obviously inside the cab here. In front of the door, there's another little hidden bolt right there. That should be it. Now they've all been 1/2 inch so far. Some of them are quite tricky to get to, so knowing the size helps before you go in. So we're away. Oakley dokley. So it looks like we're back down to the last 4 bolts across the top of the guard, and then hopefully she comes off. Unless there's some hidden one I haven't found yet, but we'll find it together. So here's a cool little feature somebody installed back when Jesus was a lad. A little electrical solenoid actuator that was once connected to the hood release. Obviously it's just a old Emmanuel style now, but yeah, flick a switch, bonnet catch. But obviously it's failed over the years, as most things do, and probably overcomplicated things, so that's going in the bin. Now some of you might be thinking, why to take the guard off? Well, I did have to take these bolts out to take the front radio support panel off, so I could have just dropped those and removed the panel. But for 5 extra bolts, now this whole guard is out of the way and can't get damaged during the chaos. So, yeah, I didn't mind doing that. Who knows what else I'll fix while I'm under there too. So, yeah, anyway, 1 guard down, time for the other side. Okay, other side's done, guard off. So now it's time to remove the bolts that hook up the inner guard to the radiator support panel. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1/2 inches across there. So, with the magic of video, that'll be done in a sec. Oh yeah, with both guards and the inners out, moving right along to the radiator support panel. So obviously we need to undo all the electrics, push that through. Gonna have to crack the air conditioner hoses off the condenser, all the wiring back through, and then I can hit the big mount bolts at the bottom of the radiator support panel and move that baby right along. Now I don't know about you guys out there, but I don't trust the little screws that hold the headlight surround trim retainer in. So I did move to using these little stainless bolts. Now they're a pain in the ass to get on and off, but at least I know the headlight's not going to fall off. But I might have to come up with something better. I might have to weld some captive nuts on the back of the tab or something, make it a bit easier. Allen key bolts or something. Anyway, we'll see what happens. So I was undoing the water temperature sensor wire, and I reminded myself of a time I drove this thing for years thinking this thing never ever gets above quarter on its temperature gauge. Doesn't matter what I'm towing, up and down hills, same temp all the time. I thought, this is just amazing. Maybe because it's got the big V8 radiator, I don't know. Towed a couple of trailers, got a bit sus, cleaned the eye terminal of the wire and put it back on, and the temperature went up and down like a yo-yo depending on what was going on, hills, towing. So yeah, it was going all over the gauge at some point and I had no clue. So yeah, there you go, bit of a tip. Anyway, next. Well, it's time for the radiator support panel bolts to come off the bottom. I knew my rubbers were pretty ordinary, but she is rooted. So I'll be going and getting a pair of those before we put it back together anyway. And yeah, lucky for the long extension. Rightio, so done the electrical disconnects, starter motor, the alternator, water temp, oil pressure, fuel pump, injection pump, power steering disconnected, air cons disconnected, fuel returns disconnected up the back, slave cylinders disconnected off the clutch, gearbox bolts are out, turbo is unbolted from the dump pipe. So I'm going to start lifting it, do a little time lapse, and we'll see what I've forgotten. You've got about 30 seconds to comment if you can think of anything else I've forgotten, or I'm going to try and rip it out with the crane. So mystery solved. To come forward, sump's resting on the front cross member. So I need to lift that puppy a bit higher at the front. Now I've got a bit of clearance off the back of the engine and firewall. Might be able to use the engine leveler now and get that baby kicked up in the air a bit. Stay tuned. So just a little update with some narration instead of time lapse. We have the starter motor rubbing on the engine mount. So I could actually take the whole engine mount off. I don't know, it can still come up more on the input shaft of the gearbox. I think the dipstick's leaning on the engine mount this side. I can still come up by the looks of it. But because the engine goes so far back into the engine bay, it's got to be careful the top of the firewall there at the plenum chamber. But we'll give it a red hot go. Just got to come up a little bit more to clear that starter motor. I should have taken it off really. I'll probably have to take it off to put it back in, I'm guessing. If I get it out now, let's see. So she's free. So you see the thrust bearing fell out the back, that's all good. You can see, because of that big billet adapter on the back of the Perkins to match up with the, well, the Ford V8 gearboxes, that's not going to like that engine mount there, but there's no reason why we can't come straight up and completely clear that. A little bit of love on the starter motor on the edge there, but that's okay. It's actually not too bad. Anyway, we'll keep going. Okay, great success. So we have a big hole now. Interesting what to put in it actually. There's lots of old farm machinery wreckers in the area. Might find something bigger, better, stronger, faster, nastier. Don't know. Anyway, there she is. This is a big ass injection pump I put on it. Then did a custom manifold. It's a bit of a prototype, so I didn't bother cleaning it up too much, as you can tell. But yeah, that gave me heaps more fuel. And with the tune I had on the turbo, also gave me more boost that I wasn't prepared for, which obviously ate the head gasket. And you're probably wondering why this whole mount was flopping around and I just didn't lift off the lifting point. As I was about to, I've seen all these cracks through here from when Jesus was a lad. Him and his mates got together and welded that rather uglily. And so I ditched that and got an engine mount off my spare engine I've got in behind the welding curtain there. So that's that. Time to crack a beer, I think. Seems our user been sitting back doing nothing all day. Could have come round and helped. Half of you would know this car in Chinchilla, and it's lonely when things get dirty. Anyway, see you next time. Well, a bit of bonus content. No free play in the turbo, which is nice, but the clutch. That was pretty good timing, I think, to pull that. Guess we definitely be looking at a new clutch. The thrust bearing's been a bit noisy, but it's amazing what a little squirt of WD will do every now and again. Anyway, something else. Just pulling all the bolts out of the bell housing. It doesn't use every hole though on the Perkins adapter. It's obviously that one, those two, that one and that one, and that's it. But on this side, got a little 1/2 inch puppy there. Very oily in there. Interesting. I don't think that starter motor one would. Potentially that one could, but it doesn't line up with anything. I think we'll be fine. Or that one. So I think we'll just drop that little 1/2 inch out the other side and start giving a little pry off. There's a bit of silicone and stuff at the top there. But yeah, wonderful.